Hi guys, Literary Prepper back again. I wanted to talk to you guys today about one of my favourite products to use in the house on a daily basis, and something that I think you ought to be stockpiling by the litres, and that's vinegar. So vinegar is one of those products where, even though I usually say go out and buy the branded expensive version because you get what you pay for in most circumstances, vinegar is one of those things where it doesn't matter what brand it is. I buy it by the quantity, not by the brand. So this is a Woolworth brand, and this is a 2-litre bottle. So I have these, I stack these on the bottom shelf in the, the cupboard in my laundry, but I buy food grade vinegar. So what do I mean by that? So there are different grades of things that you can buy, things like essential oils, vinegars, all sorts of different bits and pieces that have a dual use. So if you buy something that is food grade, you are buying something that is of a higher quality, and let's turn that around, sorry, of a higher quality, and you'll be able to use it to eat with and cook with, as well as whatever other uses you are planning on using it for. So as I said, I buy these in the 2-litre bottles. That's the biggest food grade container that I can find at my local supermarket. We're not within a reasonable distance of a whole food or a bulk food supermarket, so we don't really get the opportunity to shop at those places on a regular basis. So what we have in our supermarket is basically what we have to sort of deal with, which is okay. So what I do with these guys, I usually have little spray bottles like this. I'm actually not sure how much that holds. I just, straight vinegar, tip it into here over the sink, and that's what I use as a surface cleaner. So I use that on my countertops, I use that on the bathrooms, I use that on the toilets, I use that on the, the glass on the windows, everything. So vinegar is one of these brilliant things. If you're using it as a surface disinfectant, the way that it works is because it is so acidic and it does evaporate relatively quickly, it will actually, if you look at the germ itself as being a little organism type thingy, it will dry it out. So imagine what you would be like if somebody sort of buried you in salt or vinegar or whatever. You would wind up well and truly pickled, and that's what you're doing to any germs that are on the surface that you spray. You're effectively pickling them and killing them. So you want to, if you want to sort of make sure that something is well and truly disinfected, you might want to go over it sort of a couple of times maybe, but you also want to let it sit for about 15 minutes before you wipe it away, just to make sure that everything has been well and truly killed. So vinegar is one of those brilliant things that I use for everything when it comes to cleaning. I cop a lot of flack for that because my family members think I'm crazy. I don't spend a lot of money buying all these fancy harsh caustic chemicals that they wind up buying. Basically when it comes to cleaning, I have 2 levels. I have vinegar, and if it's really bad, it's bleach. There's nothing in between. It's either vinegar or bleach, or plain water, depending on what it is. So except for the dishes, obviously it's dishwashing soap I use for that, but for everything else it's either vinegar, or if it's particularly bad, then bleach. I don't use bleach very often at all. That's kind of like a we have 2 different toilets in our house, and if I need to clean my husband's toilet, I use bleach. Let me put it that way. But the other thing that you can also do with vinegar, in a previous video I mentioned that you can use it as a mild herbicide. So basically what you want to do with that is get a similar sort of spray bottle. You can use the same spray bottle if you want to, and you can either spray it directly on the plant as is, or if you want it to stick to the plant and sort of last for a little bit longer, you can mix a couple of drops of dishwashing liquid in there and just give that a bit of a mix and spray that on your plants. The soap will help it adhere to the leaves of the plant a little bit more and make it a little bit more effective. You just want to make sure that you don't want to spray it on any of your plants that you want to keep, because this stuff is an acid and it will kill the plants that you want to keep. But as far as getting rid of pesky grasses or any other kind of weeds that are invading your garden, I have used this a couple of times and it seems to work fairly well. I don't use it on a regular basis because the weeds are usually in fairly close to the plants that I want to keep, and I don't want the overspray to kill them. So I try to pull things out by hand, but if you don't have time or if the weeds are a little bit too much for you to be pulling them out by hand, spray them with a bit of vinegar. We are on town water here. So those of you who have done research into what is in your tap water can attest to the fact that it's full of all sorts of gross stuff that you really don't want to be acknowledging. So when it comes to, unless you're using filtered water to fill up your kettles, this one's actually not too bad, so I can't show the inside of it. But if you have a glass kettle, you'll notice it more often, where you'll actually get a calcium buildup on the inside. Or even if you have a coffee filter dealy like this, then you'll sometimes wind up with a calcium buildup on the sides of those from where the minerals and whatever from the tap water have built up on the surface. What do? Periodically, if you notice that kind of build-up on your kettle, a couple of cups of straight, or if you're like me and you want to be a little bit pedantic, you fill it up, straight vinegar. And if it's in your kettle, you want to click it on boil a couple of times and let it really sort of soak and do its thing. So you want to boil that a few times to make sure that you get all the stuff off the side of it, and then just make sure that you rinse it out a couple of times so that you don't wind up with your coffee tasting like vinegar or tea tasting like vinegar, and then just good to go. You've basically taken care of all the stuff on the side. There's vinegar is just brilliant stuff. So if you're wanting an alternative to some of these harsher products, if you, like me, you've got kids that are getting into cupboards and pulling out stuff, vinegar is not completely safe. You can kill yourself by drinking vinegar because it works as a respiratory depressant. So basically it will slow down your breathing to the point where you can't if you drink enough of it. But we're talking about drinking a couple of liters of this stuff, and hopefully if you catch someone's kid drinking vinegar, they'll make themselves sick before they get to that point. So vinegar in a spray bottle, that's really all you need to do for general sort of house cleaning, guys. You don't need to be buying Windex, you don't need to be buying specific shower cleaners or any of that kind of thing. If you've got calcium buildup in your shower head, spray it down with vinegar. If you've got pretty much anything that you can think of where you need something that's a little bit more harsh than just normal soap and water to get it clean, use vinegar. And if vinegar alone won't get it off, like if you're cleaning your stovetop, then get a little bit of rock salt and you can use that as as sort of an abrasive. Don't go too rough because you will scratch your surface, but if you've got something that's a little bit baked on, vinegar and rock salt. You don't need to be buying all of these really sort of harsh poisonous chemicals that really, whilst you can do your best to minimize it, you will absorb it through your skin, you'll breathe it in, and if it's on a food surface, you'll ingest it. Even if you try really hard to wipe it off, you can't see everything, you can't get everything. So try to use things that are a little bit more environmentally friendly. If it's environmentally friendly, then it's probably people friendly and pet friendly. So give it a go, and all you can say is whether or not it works for your family. As usual, feel free to like, share, subscribe. If you do subscribe, hit the little bell so that you get all of our updates and videos and stuff. And vinegar. I'll talk to you guys next time.